Now at noon, Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States. We'll talk about why experts are calling this a momentous political comeback. Plus, J.D. Vance becomes the first Ohioan in almost a century to become vice president. And longtime incumbent Sherrod Brown unseated by businessman Bernie Moreno in the most expensive Senate race in U.S. history. We'll talk about how this move, this transfer of balance of power in the Senate. 10 TV News at noon starts right now. And right now at noon, the world is reacting to news of a new president here in the United States. Donald J. Trump was going to become the 47th president of the United States. We have team coverage for you this afternoon. Kristen McFarland will be outside the Franklin County Board of Elections. Kira Lake is live from outside the State House, and CBS's Jared Hill joins us from Washington, D.C. We do want to start by saying thank you so much for joining us today for 10 TV News at noon. I'm Tracy Townsend. Right now, CBS News projects that Donald Trump has been elected 47th president of the United States. And we want to get right to more on that. CBS's Jared Hill is joining us from Washington, D.C. with more on what we can expect moving forward. Jared.
This is a magnificent victory for the American people.
Overnight, Donald Trump relished in what his supporters call the greatest political comeback in American history.
We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy?
Trump's campaign strategy to appeal to people who don't vote frequently in key battleground states worked, ultimately putting him well over the required 270 electoral votes. And it's what played out in make or break Pennsylvania.
People who voted early, they went overwhelmingly for Kamala Harris. But then what happened yesterday? Boom. Donald Trump turned out more people day of.
Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign has always said if she loses, she'll concede the race. That call to her opponent could come today. She's also expected to address supporters at her alma mater, Howard University.
You won't hear from the vice president tonight.
The crowd there dispersed last night after learning Harris wouldn't make an appearance. As Team Trump prepares to head back to the White House, they're calling for hope and optimism.
He is going to be a president for all Americans.
Senior advisor Jason Miller says the president-elect can hit the ground running with executive orders.
He can simply flip the switch on day one, secure the border, start the energy exploration again, which will help with reducing inflation, making things more affordable.
A vast majority of voters nationwide described the economy as bad. It was a top concern among Trump voters. Jared Hill, CBS News, the White House.
And Ohio native J.D. Vance is set to be the next vice president. This makes him the Buckeye State's first vice president in nearly 100 years. 10 TV News reporter Kira Lake joins us now live from the State House. Kira, this is another major accomplishment for Vance's political career.
Oh, yeah, and it's been a pretty short career because J.D. Vance, he started this journey back in 2021, and now you've seen that he's rose to be the next, or is now the U.S. Senator of Ohio, so a big representative. And his career started pretty recently, like I said, in 2021, and he started making a name for himself, actually, with his best-selling memoir, and this was around the same time Trump first started running for president, and they didn't always see eye to eye, with Vance calling Trump dangerous and unfit for office in 2016, but he reversed his opinion by the time he met with Trump in 2021. Then the following year, Vance was elected as the U.S. Senator of Ohio and became a fierce Trump ally.
And under President Trump's leadership, we're never going to stop fighting for you, for your dreams, for the future of your children. And after the greatest political comeback in American history, we're going to lead the greatest economic comeback in American history under Donald Trump's leadership.
Now make sure you stay with us, because later on in our later shows, we're going to talk about that now open U.S. Senate seat that Vance currently is a part of. We're talking to a Republican strategist about what the next steps are in replacing that seat. Reporting live from the State House, Kara Lake, 10 TV News.
All right, it was a night of big wins for the Republican Party, one of the biggest right here at home in Ohio, with a battle for Senator Sherrod Brown's seat. He, of course, was the incumbent. The challenger, Bernie Moreno, was able to garner enough support to surpass Brown from a seat that he has been serving from since 2007. 10 TV's Kristen McFarland joins us now. She's at the Franklin County Board of Elections with the latest on this one. Kristen.
Yeah, Tracy, as you said, this has been a long time and the first time that U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown has been defeated, holding that position since 2007, and what's been called the most expensive Senate race in history, costing more than $400 million. Now, yesterday, Bernie Moreno celebrated his victories and pledged to serve all Ohioans, while a disappointed Sherrod Brown vowed to not give up fighting for his supporters. Here's what both Moreno and Brown had to say.
We just changed the Republican control of the Senate. We just flipped the Senate from Democrat to Republican. It was always going to be tough. But look, I've taken on tough battles in the past, and this is no different. But I'm more energized to go out there and get to work for the American people and the people of Ohio than I've ever been.
We may be tempted to say hope was not enough. We might be tempted to second-guess ourselves and question whether we worked hard enough or long enough. That is not our story tonight.
Now, Moreno was born in Colombia and will be the first Latino to represent Ohio in the Senate. Before entering politics, he was a car dealer in Northeast Ohio. Tracy.
All right, another race making an impact. Voters in Franklin County voted to pass CODA's sales tax levy. This means a sales tax increase in Columbus from 7.5% to 8%. The improvements from the levy will include rapid transit buses, plus trails and sidewalks throughout central Ohio. We do want to get a look at the forecast with our 10 weather impact team. Leading that today, meteorologist Dylan Robichaud.
Hey there. We are seeing the rain finally depart the area. Man, it was a doozy out there for a couple of hours this morning with some heavy downpours. I know it caused many wrecks out there on the roadways. Now, finally, this line of showers is departing us down to the south. In its wake, we have dry conditions that will build on in throughout the afternoon. Still tracking some showers down towards Waverly, Chillicothe, but that drizzle is going to move on out. Next couple of hours, still a few lingering spotty showers down towards Circleville and Chillicothe. But as we head towards 4, 5, 6 o'clock, we actually not only get the rain out, but things start clearing out as well, which should be pretty nice if you're trying to get outside. 12-hour forecast shows that we get partial clearing late today. Temperatures drop down to the 50s after midnight, Tracy.
All right, Dylan, thanks. Still ahead this afternoon, Ohio's map drawing process will not be changed. Coming up, you'll hear some reaction after issue 1 was defeated. Plus, a look at what's next. We'll also take a look at some of the school levies that were on the ballot. We'll talk about what passed, what failed, and what's still up in the air when it comes to the future of the schools in your community. We'll be right back.